Why do you feel empty? Why? Why am I even doing all these math questions? What am I really studying for? It's so hard. There's no point in doing math. In the emptiness that we feel, it might be due to fluctuations in mood and feelings. But for some people, they might feel emptiness for a prolonged period of time, and this could be due to multiple factors, internal and external. Before we begin, I need to mention that I'm no medical expert, and I'm just here to state my opinions. So if I'm mistaken in any way, please let me know in the comment section below. For anything that happens, there's always cause and effect. Things don't just happen. Mistakes, blunders, accidents, they don't just happen. Often, it's due to a series of slip-ups at a certain point. And possibly, you might be familiar with a game of chess, where you might sometimes miss the incoming threat of a bishop, and that might cause you to lose your rook. Subsequently, you lose multiple pieces, and eventually you might lose the game. Have you ever heard of the Swiss cheese model? Essentially, the Swiss cheese model works by having multiple interventions and preventions. For instance, to prevent the spread of COVID-19, the infectious disease that we are all familiar with. By having measures from mandatory wearing of masks, washing of hands, staying at home when you're sick, these measures prevent the spread of COVID-19. It reduces the chance of you being at risk to someone who is infectious. But there's no one factor that is perfect in doing so. Things happen not because of one factor but multiple breaches of security. Similarly, in the chess, the defeat was due to a slew of mistakes rather than one. Likewise, the feeling of emptiness can be due to multiple reasons, not just one. Going back to the topic of emptiness, why do you feel empty? From the people that I know, there's this term used to describe emptiness, and that's existentialism, the inquiry of human existence. Why am I here? What do I even have to do in life? And what does life has to offer for me? Are common questions that self-doubt can trigger. Before we proceed, I need to mention that I cannot solve your worries in this video, simply because I also have them as well. After all, I'm human. What I can do instead is perhaps to guide your thinking into optimism instead of pessimism. Firstly, most adults don't have it together. They are also going through the same exact process as you. They have self-doubts, emptiness, and they don't really know what to do in life. And that's okay. It's only not okay if you are not okay with it. And that's when you need to do something. That requires action. If you're not okay with feeling empty, you need to understand why you're not okay with feeling empty. Does that feeling of emptiness come from loneliness, or is it because of the uncertainty of life or the very poor job market? If so, how do you feel that gap? What have you been doing to tackle the issue at hand? If you identified the gaps, have you done anything yet? If you haven't, why would you expect the situation to change? And if you can't change the situation, can you change your perspective of that situation? Have you tried writing down your thoughts or taking the time to reflect on the emotions? Or did you just sidestep the uneasy feeling away, only for it to come back when you're done with your business in social media? You know what's interesting? Something that I've noticed in my home country is that many of the young adults don't know why they are striving so hard to get stellar grades in examinations. They have no idea. And even if they do say they do know, it's most probable that they have accepted the preconceived social norms uncritically. They just do it because it's the safe and the beaten path, the secure way to live in a meritocratic society. The question, why shouldn't I, doesn't come to mind. For instance, guys in my home country has to serve a mandatory of 2 years of military service. And essentially this is like gap years in university, right? Where you have free time to yourself to do whatever you want to do. And if you're lucky enough, you might end national service or military service before your uni. So you might have a few months to yourself to do whatever you want to do. But guess what? Many of the young people that I know don't do anything. Not because they cannot do it, but because they don't know what to do with their life. And that's an issue. And I have a theory for why that happens. Most likely, it's because we have never seriously thought about what we really want out of life. Going with the flow, thinking it will all work out. But guess what? Even after you have gone through your university life, that feeling of emptiness will never go away. Not unless you take the time to understand your true self. What do you really want to do? If you can do anything, would you still be doing what you are doing now? Would you still attend university? And yes, you might say that it's impossible to really do the things that you really want to do. But have you at least tried giving it a shot? Don't give yourself excuse to avoid doing the things that you need and want to do. There's really no point in validating inaction. You will never find out what will happen if you have done it, and you might perhaps regret not doing it. There's no point in that. It's similar to mental masturbation, where you think so profusely but never take the time and effort to execute it. It's a shame, really. At least for me, I don't want to live that life of passiveness in which I live life without taking action and I'm okay with whatsoever that happens to me. If you're okay with it, by all means. But if you're watching this video, you probably want a change of how you're feeling right now. And that only comes with action. Do the thing that you need to do to avoid feeling the way you're feeling right. There's this quote that I just thought of while making this video. No advice is good advice until you put it to action. A good way to judge whether you're okay with staying empty for the rest of the life is to weigh whether the feeling of emptiness outweighs the feeling of wanting to change despite the uncomfortable situations. At the very least, it's normal to feel empty. You're not weird. And if you think you feel weird, please consult a licensed practitioner instead. I can only do so much. The rest is up to you. Thanks for watching.